Here's how to make chocolate without the palm oil. The first place to start with any decent chocolate bar, of course, is with cacao. And here we start with our cocoa butter. This stuff is sustainable, smells gorgeous, gives the chocolate bar the snap, but also gives the chocolate bar the shine. It's that melt point in your mouth. And of course, from that, we also have to look at the next thing, and that is our cocoa beans. These are raw Peruvian beans that we actually have as a raw product. And I'll show you what we do. We break them down into nibs. So this is what the nibs look like. The nibs are just the inside part of that bean. And of course, smells absolutely fantastic. Sorry you can't smell this, guys. But this is going to be ground down over 24 hours with this to make it into a beautiful chocolate. But I'm making this into a milk chocolate, and so milk has got to be a major factor in this bar. Now, this isn't just milk powder. Milk has got lactose in it. Lactose is, of course, sugar. And that would mean that the only sugar that I've got in my chocolate bar is the lactose. But to bring that down, what I've done is put some whey powder. Whey, of course, is higher in protein. And I put some cream powder higher in fats. But that means by putting those in there, we get the same benefits of milk, but without the actual lactose, which has come down. So that goes into our bar. And finally, to sweeten, I use my own unique Sweet Lock formula. This is a mixture of sweeteners that taste like sugar, but it won't give you the sugar spike. You know what, you can make chocolate without it. It can be very bitter, but of course, by putting the sweetener in there, you get that lovely taste. It means you're not missing out on milk chocolate. It's still got that lovely flavor, lovely sweetness to it, without any of the side effects of having sugar. So how is this different to the big brands? Well, they of course love palm oil, way cheaper, and it means they can save themselves a fortune and make more profit from every penny you spend. They also love this stuff, sugar. Now, sugar, of course, is quite often put in chocolate. I'm not saying it shouldn't be. However, we make it without sugar whatsoever. This is way cheaper than the sweeteners, but of course, if you've got diabetes, if you're somebody who can't eat sugar, then this chocolate is going to be perfect for you. So ditch these and instead go back to first principles of what chocolate should all be about. The delicious health benefits of cacao without sweetness, without the spike. This is great, but of course at the moment it's at room temperature, which means it's absolutely solid, just like your chocolate bar will be. So we have to melt it down first, which is what I've done here, and it gives you that, look, coming close on that bad boy. Look at that beautiful, rich colour. Isn't that absolutely stunning? The smell right now is amazing. It's a little bit acidic, and that's because the cacao's been fermented, which gives it a little bit of a vinegary taste. So when we're going to start grinding this stuff down, not only are we breaking it down to smaller and smaller particles to make it smooth in your mouth, we're also going to be getting rid of that acetic acid, the extra acid which is inside the cacao. But let's go and put it in the machine now. So this is my main grinder. It's actually a bit small for the ball mill I'm going to be getting in the next few weeks. This does two jobs. Not only does it grind all the ingredients down to make into small particles, but it also gets rid of the acetic acid, which is called conching. It gets air into the ingredients and it gives it that lovely flavour. So let's put in the cocoa butter first. Well, let's start adding in the nibs. This has been going for the last 20 minutes or so it's now time to add the sweeteners. So as you see already, it's becoming a bit of a paste now. Going to add the sweetener in that gap there. And that can now be ground. This is where the magic really happens, because not only are you breaking it all down, but the acetic acid is leaving the cacao. So air is getting in, it's getting all bashed around in there, it's getting conched. And that conching is what makes it so special. It was actually Lindt, that very famous chocolate maker I know you've all heard of, in the 19th century in Switzerland, who invented conching. And by putting air in, he actually had this machine which goes up and down, putting air in the chocolate. He realised it got smoother and smoother and more delicious. And that's what we're doing here. So sometimes people say to me, can you just blitz it together in some sort of food processor? Well, no, because it's the air you need to get into it, and that takes time. And that's why this is going to be running for 24 hours, absolute minimum. Finally, we add our combination of whey powder, cream powder, and milk powder. This is what makes it a milk chocolate bar, obviously. But like I said, there's far less lactose. And that's why it's a non-added sugar bar, because we don't put any sugar in there at all. In fact, we bring it down. "24 hours later, it's now time to pour it into our tempering machine. Basically, when chocolate comes out, it looks all kind of messy, and that's because the crystalline structure isn't there. I'm going to temper it in this bad boy to make all those sort of crystal structures fit together and give it that perfect snap. Once getting to the right temperature, now we can pour it into our mould. Pours it in. You always get a few bubbles, so you have to give it a little tap. We can even do like a little bubble dance. This is the difference between craft chocolate, right? It's all done by hand. Whereas if you go to the big manufacturers, they just chuck the ingredients in a machine, pops out the other end in a bag, or in a bar bag or whatever, and it's done. You don't get this kind of handcrafted nature of job done. Now it's time to get these in the chiller. Have about half an hour to chill before we start packing them. They've done their time in the chiller, now let's open them up. So let's have a look at these bad boys. Look at that. Tempered to perfection. This pains me a little bit because it made a perfect bar, but let's give it a snap. Perfect. This is a bit behind the scenes that I won't show you in most companies. We actually wrap every bar by hand. It is ridiculously slow. I'm going to get a flow wrapper eventually, but at this very moment in time, June 2026, we don't have money for that. So we're packing everything by hand, and we obviously had to put the label. And the high-tech way we do that is with one of these. So, thank you, Mr. Tesco. We stick every single one on by hand. I'm not boasting, by the way. This is not ideal. We're going to get better. And then, best before date. Bish bash bosh, you got yourself a chocolate bar. And that is how you make the best chocolate in the whole world without the palm oil.